Tonight, we're taking an in-depth look at your winter weather forecast. Southern New Englanders are dreading more sights like this after last year's brutal deep freeze.
But this season, there's a wild card in the mix. El Nino, seen here as a red band of warm water across the Pacific Ocean, and it may have a major impact on what's in store for this winter.
Chief Meteorologist Tony Petrarca with us now. And Tony, you've been crunching the data. Please say we're in for less snow this year.
Well, not as severe as last winter. It's hard to get back-to-back winters like that, so there's the good news in that regard. But an El Nino winter tends to be a stormy one, so the million-dollar question here is it more rain or is it more snow?
We'll take the rain.
Winter in southern New England. It can bring a wide variety of extremes. Some years are bitter cold with excessive snow. Others mild and wet with bare ground. And everything else in between, including ice and sleet. Seasonal weather predictions 2 to 3 months into the future is not easy and certainly not an exact science. But today's technology can give us a broad generalization of what the winter may look like on average in terms of precipitation and temperature. So to figure out the upcoming winter, we have to think globally, analyzing current and predicted ocean and weather patterns across the entire northern hemisphere.
Now, when predicting the upcoming winter season, we look at a number of global weather patterns of factors, but by far the biggest weather player, sea surface temperatures. Specifically, what we call sea surface temperature anomalies. Where's the water running warmer or colder than average? We head out into the Pacific and we look at certain areas, especially off the coast of South America and near the equator in the Pacific. And this red zone that we've been monitoring now for the last several months is a ribbon of warm water. And that, quite simply, is El Nino. And it does play a big factor. This sea surface temperature anomaly, the water is very warm. Here's the real deal on the satellite photo, infrared picture, and you can see that red stripe across the equatorial Pacific. It is very significant, and this plays a big factor in how the weather behaves across the northern hemisphere.
I went to the National Weather Service in Taunton, Mass. to talk with meteorologist Dave Valley. We were classmates studying weather back in the 1980s, and both of us are very impressed with the magnitude of this year's El Nino.
When you have an El Nino, you're warming 2/3 of the tropical Pacific. And you're not only warming the surface, but you're warming it hundreds and hundreds of feet down through the ocean surface. That change, Tony, is heat. It's energy to the atmosphere. So that's why the ripple effect occurs. You have to have the atmosphere adjust to that change.
Action reaction.
Absolutely.
One of the biggest atmospheric reactions is a significant subtropical jet stream, a very active storm track which carries storms off the Pacific Ocean and into the continental U.S. So here's the breakdown as where we think the storm track will be this winter, essentially from Southern California through the Southern Plains and up the East Coast. Now, some storm systems will come across the southeast and head out to sea, but more frequently, storms coming up the coastline giving us above average precipitation. But the real wild card here, do we have enough cold air so that these storms fall in the form of snow rather than rain?
Where we are in coastal southeast New England, the chances are we'll probably see 1 or 2 big blockbuster East Coast snowstorms, but I doubt we'll be in the corridor where the heaviest snow occurs.
But we'll have episodes where the cold air retreats to the north and it's mostly a rain or mixed precipitation kind of a situation. So not all storms like last February will be all snow. So here's how it breaks down. A milder start to the winter through December, turning colder the second half, but again, not as frigid or as extreme as last winter in terms of temperature and snowfall. As far as snowfall here in southern New England, we're going to forecast it to be near average to above average with more frequent coastal storms, but at times of mild air, we'll certainly have mixed precipitation and rainstorms as well. So a stormy active pattern across the East Coast, not always snow, but some rain and ice as well. But El Nino will play a big factor in our weather this winter, and only time will tell. So I would go so far as to say that we have a pretty good chance of actually seeing a couple of significant nor'easters this winter along the East Coast. And again, the wild card is there enough cold air in play to keep it all snow, or is it more of a messy mixture? But I think the end result by the end of March are snowfall that's either average or slightly above average, but not nearly as extreme as last winter.
We could actually use some type of wet weather with so low at this point too, right?
Yeah, running behind in the rainfall deficit. And actually, you bring up a good point, because on Thursday night we could make some inroads here, perhaps an inch of rain coming up. Watching a storm system across the plains. Let me show you first Doppler radar. You know, things are quiet right now. High temps today, as expected, were a lot cooler in the upper 40s, so we'll stay dry for now. But again, rainfall deficit anywhere from 3-4 inches. We could use a good soaking, and right now we're thinking Thursday night is the prime time for some heavy rain to arrive. But from now now until then, it's quiet. So the threat tracker tonight through Wednesday morning in the afternoon hours, low-level green, big storms, high-impact weather, severe weather. Certainly don't see that like they're getting across the Central Plains this evening. So colder tonight, one more dry day tomorrow, then some rain for later in the work week into at least Friday morning. Crystal clear, very cold in Providence. Temps in the upper 20s to low 30s. Humidity coming in at 82% on a light west-northwesterly breeze. Talk about a chill wintertime in Smithfield, 26 degrees. Some spots getting down to 23, 24 by 5 o'clock in the morning. Here's the wide view of the satellite and radar composite. Skies are clear. Behind me, you see some clouds streaming in across the Great Lakes. And this is the storm system we've been watching. It's a slow mover, creating a lot of adverse weather. Snow on the backside of it, blizzard conditions, heavy thunderstorms, severe weather, downpours, thunder and lightning out ahead of it. And it's some of this moisture that's headed our way. Here we are in southern New England. It'll take a while for this to track into our area. So we're thinking late Thursday afternoon, but I think the better chance comes Thursday night into early Friday morning for some downpours, perhaps 1 to 2 inches of rain. But from now until then, it's simple. Cold and dry. Watch the clock right up in here. Take you through the overnight hours. There's a definite chill in the air. Temps in the upper 20s to low 30s by 6 o'clock in the morning. During the afternoon hours, sunshine gets to work, recovering to only around 50, but the normal high is around 53, so we're just slightly below average. Then tomorrow evening, tomorrow night is cool, but not as cold. The humidity will be on the rise, some clouds streaming in. So tomorrow night we're thinking upper 30s to lower 40s rather than upper 20s. So cold start tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., 11 a.m. sunshine, 48, and we'll hover at 50 for about 2-3 hours from roughly noontime till about 3 o'clock, and then we'll start to cool down. Of course, days are getting shorter, so we don't hold on to those warm temperatures or those mild temperatures very long. 7-day futurecast. Here comes your rain for Thursday. I think most of the daylight hours, there's really not a lot of rain in terms of amounts, but once we get to Thursday evening, Thursday night, rain, heavy at times, could even be some thunderstorms. That'll spill over into Friday afternoon. At this point, we're thinking slow clearing. It'll be kind of tough to really get the sunshine on Friday, but better chances of that happening over the weekend. A mix of clouds and sun, cool and dry both Saturday and Sunday, with daytime highs in the upper 40s. All the stuff we talked about, El Nino and the winter, it is going on our website as we speak.
All right. Thank you, Tony.